Good morning.
Hey y'all. Aloha.
Aloha from Houston, Texas. Or should I say Katy, Texas. So what's on the agenda this morning, Renee?
Well, I got school, so I have school, so I'm going to school. But before I go to school, I'm going to the gym to work out because my school has a gym. So I'm going on a treadmill for like 30 minutes. You're more than welcome to join me. But I know you want to go to school so you can study for your class. But it's up to you.
So I'm not going to be working out with you this morning, but I am going to sit. I don't have classes this morning, so I had classes on yesterday. So today I'm just going to go and join Renee at her college university to sit and catch up on my classwork so I can get ahead. I was so frustrated on yesterday. How many of y'all are in college, or how many of y'all are taking classes, or any type of class to further your education or your skill? How many of you are doing that this year?
Or if you think you're too old to go back, that's not true. Because look at me. It's never too late.
Never
too late to go back.
Never too late, guys. Let me tell you something. I've been struggling with earning my degree since 2004. Yes, you heard me right. I've been in school since 2004. And obstacles, had arose over the years. And with being a single parent, raising 3 kids, it was difficult working. But, I chose a career path at that time, which was phlebotomy. And I pursued that, and I done that for about 10 years. But in that 10 years, it was a struggle trying to go to school full-time, work full-time. And then it got to a point where I got so frustrated with life as well as my profession, I just quit. I just gave up, and I lived off whatever money I had saved up for a year without working. And then when I decided to go back to work, I worked 2 part-time, I worked a full-time job at CVS and a part-time job at Ross. Nobody understood why I was doing that when I was making decent money in the profession that I was in. It got to a point where I just decided to give up. I gave up. I gave up. God didn't give up on me, but I gave up on God. And I gave up on just life. I felt abandonment. I didn't get to really deal with my father's death. I didn't grieve. I went back to work. People didn't understand that. I went right back to work. I was like, he died, not me. I got to keep living. I got to keep striving. I got to keep moving forward. I'm a mother of 3. I'm single. I'm doing this on my own. I don't have time to just grieve. And so eventually that caught up with me, and it caused me to break down. At that time, I was in a point in my life where God had gave me a vision, and I started a different task, a different path. I gave up relationships, men and women, and at the time I wasn't dating men and women, but I gave up, seeking a partner, I should say. I was not dealing with men at the time, but then I got to a point where I started growing my relationship with God, and I asked God, bless you, baby.
Oh, excuse me.
I asked God, if this is what you want me to do, then I ask that you put me in a mind frame to accept a man, a husband, not just any man, but a husband. And so once I started, just focusing on God and putting myself out there, I met someone, and then he was really good to me. Everything was great. Unfortunately, I just wasn't ready. And so with that being said, he gave up on me. And so at that time, I felt like my dad had given up. My dad gave up on me. He gave up on life, and I don't know why I felt that way when he died of cancer. I felt like God had given up on me when I've given up on God. And I felt like that man had gave up on me when I gave up on that man. And so I just had to take a time in my life and just reflect on who I was, what direction I was going in, you know, what I wanted to do for me, you know. I was living my life for so many different people, my children, you know, my siblings. I felt like there were people looking up to me. And, you know, at that point, I was a leader in the church. And so, oh my gosh, it was just so much. I felt like I had to just lead a life where I had to be somebody I wasn't. You know what? And this video wasn't intentionally, but it brings me to questions that I can recall back when people ask me, oh, do you know God? And oh, I didn't realize you were a lesbian. And you know, these are comments that were left in the comment box by viewers. And people, let me tell you something, don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know who you're speaking to, and you never know who you're dealing with. If you are a Christian and you are a child of God, then you should know when you approach your sister in Christ or a child of God. Don't get it twisted, people. My Father has never let me down. He has always provided for me, even when I felt like giving up. Even when I gave up, in the midst of me giving up, God was still there, providing and protecting my children and I. And so once I got to a point where, you know, in my life that I didn't know what direction to go in, I just got to myself. I wasn't dating. I wasn't doing anything. I just got to a point where I worked, threw myself into work, tried to throw myself into school completely, but that was impossible with the life that I had at that time. And so after that, I asked God to bring a vessel into my life, to be a healer to me, someone who would love me unconditionally, someone who would support me, because I had been on my own for so long. And it was a struggle, but it was my struggle, and it was the struggle that made me who I am today. And so once I asked God for that, and I started concentrating on, you know, building myself, getting to be a better me, getting to know God on a deeper level, that's when this joy came into my life. This vessel came into my life. So I just thank God for Renee, and I will always say that. She's been a blessing to me, and I can't speak for her, but babe, how do you feel about me coming into your life? I ask Renee that all the time. Like, how do you feel? Because people always hear me, you know, say nice things about you and what you've done for me, but they've never seen what goes on in the background of what I do for you, or, you know, how I contribute to this marriage. So you want to take time to speak on that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, you're a blessing to me because, oh, let me speak up because I always talk low. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, you're definitely a blessing to me, babe. I'm not good financially. I wasn't good in financial, and that's your strong point. And if it wasn't for you, you know, I wouldn't be where I am right now, and we wouldn't be where we are right now. So, you know, I thank you for that. Your personality is way different from mine. You're very outgoing. You're very outspoken, and I'm not. I'm a laid back, you know, humble. I watch, I observe, and you know, some of that, not some, I'm gonna have to say a lot of it has to do with being in the military, and you know, leaving the military life and coming into today's society. You know, you can't necessarily always be that reserved person. You have to be outspoken. You have to open up. So that's what you're bringing out in me as well. You know, I have to learn how to be outspoken. I have to learn how to open up and mainly just express who I am. Because in the Army, you can, but you can't. It's like you gotta be this image that they want you to be because you represent, you know, the United States in the Army. So you have to portray yourself as this person. So now that I'm not in the military no more, I can be me. No matter what that is, I can be me free without having to worry about this or that. So you know, and that's who you are. You're you. That's why it's open book gal, because you're who you are. You don't mind sharing, you don't mind telling, you know, and that's why I love you as a friend, because, you know, to me, I've always believed in, you can have associates, but friends are hard to find, because a true friend is going to be there through thick and thin, and the truest friend is going to tell you when you're wrong and tell you the truth when you don't want to hear it. And a lot of people don't know how to accept that. And that's one of the things that I love about you, because no matter what, no matter who it is, you always tell it like it is. And yes, I get upset a lot of times because the truth hurts. Everybody know that the truth hurts. So that's why I love you, and that's why you're a blessing to my life. You know, I know God. I don't know the Bible. You know, my mom went to church. You know, she teaches a little nursery or whatever you call it. So I went to church, but you know, to see your belief and your strength in God, you know, it's helped me, and it's showed me, you know, the things that He's capable of, and the things that He can do, and this, you know, just the faith. And you know, because I know your faith, I have, you know, everybody sometimes get to that, you know, not downfall, but getting to that comfort zone or whatever it is to be. So and it's something I don't want you to do, because I mean, man,